You will not beat me. The dang computer. Good morning, everybody. Hi, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread, and you are in the Stitchuation room, our Monday through Friday virtual quilt chat. My apologies. Today I was late. We're going to blame it on the computer. I tried to come in. I could see it, and it just wasn't. So when in doubt, reboot, right? And it worked. Oh, you just have the banner. You can't see me? Can you guys see me? All right. Would you guys let me know if you can see me? Let's see here. No, everything looks like it. You should see me, as far as I can tell. Yes, you can. Excellent. Good. Well, then whoever couldn't see me, it ain't me. Awesome, ladies. Good to see you guys. And gents, if we have any. Hello, hello. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I did. I needed the break for sure. This getting ready for Houston. Oh, it's so nerve-wracking. Oh, you like my shirt too? Yeah, I'm not in. This is not Angela Walters. Okay. She's a decade or two younger than I am. Oh my goodness. I didn't stitch a thing this weekend, except when we got home yesterday. So we went to Port O'Connor. We've got a little house down there. And all right, Judy, don't start with me, lady. I should have worn my Astros jersey. Oh my goodness. But I've got samples made and everything. I'm going to be taken to Houston. And for those who are new, or you are just beginning your quilting journey or embroidery journey. Yeah, Judy, you and I are going to have to just agree to disagree, my friend. Judy's having fits because the Astros and the Rangers are they're going at it right now. So Keith wore his Altuve jersey last night. So.
It didn't work.
And he says it didn't work. Well, Judy's on here yelling about that other team. She's all happy for them. So
are you on now?
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, no, bro.
Oh, thank you, Judy. She says she still loves me. Okay. So we got home yesterday and so before we left on Friday, y'all remember when I started this probably 6 weeks ago, I started Seasonal Stitchy Stars. This is a pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. It's a Lori Holt. Beautiful, right? And I put it on the long arm and I put a picture in our Facebook group. If you're not a member, please join. Lots of inspiration there and lots of fun. I put it on the long arm and I want to get up close. So you guys, can you see the maple leaves on there? I love doing it in the pumpkin colored thread. And the pattern is Maureen's Maple Leaves from Urban Elements. That's where I like to get all of my long arm patterns. So it just turned out beautiful. I absolutely loved it. I quilt on the Kanique 21X Elite on a Continuum 2 frame, the 10-foot frame, and I'm using QCT 5 Pro. I'm hoping to upgrade to QCT 6, but I'm going to check them. Hopefully, did I see they're going to be at market? I forgot to look. They had a big booth there last year. But I really want to see the QCT 6 in action. If any of you are Quilt Path users and you're looking for some instructions, check out QCT 5 Pro or QCT videos. I bet you find they look a lot alike. So we leave Thursday. Matter of fact, I got to call the RV park and back us up a day. We don't need to be there on Thursday. We're going to leave here Thursday and drive there. I live just southeast of San Antonio. So it's just a couple hours drive. And there is an RV park that is on the southeast side of town, which normally isn't a really nice side, but they're trying to bring up that area. And over the last couple of years, we've stayed in that RV park and we don't have any trouble. Oh, QCT6 Paula says is a free upgrade if I own 5. Oh, I was wondering about that. And I was going to check upgrades when I was doing this, but I didn't have time. So I'll do that when I get off here with you guys and check that out. Well, Kathy made the first live. Welcome. We're glad you're here. To everybody who is new, we've got such a growing community here, and it's just so wonderful. So I appreciate you guys showing up. What a great way to start our day. Or in the case of my Aussies that are on here, what a nice way to end your day is to talk about sewing and quilting and machine embroidery and all things stitchy, right? Oh, it isn't coming out till the first week in November. Well, there you go. Boy, you're on the ball. I'm a Grace ambassador. I should know those things. Yes. Judy, you still want to give me a thumbs up even though you're a Rangers fan? I still love you, sweetie. It's okay. Oh, Connie, you did. Made by Margie says that Connie told all her friends at retreat about me. I knew my ears were burning for some reason. So I put the binding on while it was on the long arm using the groovy long arm binding ruler that I have on my store site. I don't know if we still have any left or not. And for those of you who wanted to get one at a different binding strip depth width, the ones that we had in stock were for 2.5 and 2.5 inch binding strips. And so the guy who makes them for me tells me he can make them as small as 2.25 inch binding strips. Other than that, the groove won't fit on his whatever machine he's using. I have no idea. And then we can go up to 3-inch binding strips, but we've got to back up on the acrylic. I thought I brought home. I didn't see it come in the house. I'll have to ask Keith. I had it stacked ready to come home with me. I had an old Sew Steady table that, for sewing machines to give you more quilting surface by Sew Steady. I don't even know which machine that went to. I probably don't have it anymore. And so I brought it home. Can't find the legs. Don't have a clue. So it was on the stack to come home. I don't see it. It must be in the truck. Anyway, I'm going to give that to my ruler guy because he can use that acrylic and make rulers out of it. How about that? That's cool, huh? So I had a little trouble with the corners, and they're not as pretty as I might like, and I'm not going to show them to you. I'll show you this one. I'll show you this corner. That one came out okay on the front. That's probably on the front. This one's the nicest on the front, and then this one is the nicest on the back. But they're going to hang over the edges of a buffet and nobody will see them anyway. But don't you know, I woke up about 4:45 and my brain just kicked in. How can I make my corners better? What can I do? And it just churn. It's all kind of, what can I do? What can I do? And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and take a larger ruler at a 45-degree angle and draw lines, not only mark lines, not only on here, so I know exactly where that 45 is, but also up off the top of it. So that way I can perfectly align that 45-degree line so that when my hopping foot stops 1/4 inch away from it, I know exactly where to pivot and turn. And so I just need to draw myself some guidelines. I think that'll work. Oh, I see. Okay. Boy, you guys are all over that. Does anybody have the Rebel? Has anybody purchased the Grace Rebel machine? I haven't seen it in person. I'm hoping to see it this year in Houston. So All right. So last night, while I was sitting around watching YouTube, like I do in the evenings, I finished stitching the last two blocks for the wonky houses. So the haunted and the enter if you dare. And I left these like this, kind of floppy, because I wanted to show you guys when you do, yeah. Margie says nobody will even notice if they were on the table. We're too wet. Let me see if I can get that. Too close. My project keeps looking better every morning when I see it new. Yeah, they do. They do. Absolutely. So not this one, the enter if you dare, but this one, the haunted. Y'all, I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 pieces of batting stabilizer scraps. And I did this in the dime magnetic hoop for the multi-needle. I just laid those scraps on top of each other on the bottom frame. That's another wonderful benefit of the snap hoops, the magnetic ones. So this probably has 4 or 5 scraps of stabilizer that made it up. And then the reason it's so nice and non-puckered is because I'll show you here. I used scraps of SF101 on the back of the quilting cotton to stabilize it. So fabulous use of scraps. I also did the same thing. I need to sew this up. Somebody put one in our Facebook group, turned out just adorable. Love it, love it. And then I also used stabilizer scraps. This is from In the Hoop Pouches 3 from Designs by Juju. I stitched this up yesterday. And successful use, first successful use, I think, of the by Annie zippers, and it's fully lined. Turned out great. I just needed I need a little pouch. So I got to carry media chips and that kind of thing around. But hey, so I like to finish my bindings. I put the binding strip on while it's on the long arm, and then I stitch it on here. On the Brother PQ 1500. That's my my piecing machine. So a while back, we were talking about when I do my bindings using a ditch foot, a stitch in the ditch foot. And if you're new, stitch in the ditch means to stitch right where a couple of pieces meet so that you don't see the stitching from the top. And I got to tell you guys, I got this ditch foot, stitch in the ditch foot. This is a specific stitch in the ditch foot for this particular machine and others like it. It's not like the ones you find on Amazon. This one, if you've got this machine or the Juki or something like it, the baby lock version, this foot, you guys, I got to show you. Where's my glasses? I put some over here so I would have them. I wouldn't have to get up. Hold on. Let me take this off. So you could use something like a blind hem foot to kind of guide you if you're going to stitch in the ditch, right? And that's what the ones on Amazon look like. They look like blind hem stitch. This one, I got this from Ken's Sewing, and it's the Ken's Sewing that's in Southeast US, Georgia, Alabama, can't remember. So check this out. Look at this foot. I want to make sure you can see this. It's got this is a serious little, see that little toe flange right there? So it's for the single needle hole, okay? That toe, look at how wide that toe is. It's really big. And then this, it's got a spring to it. See that? It's got a spring to it. So it's 2 separate feet that are together. Look how that's made. I love seeing how stuff's made. This thing is serious. It's hefty, okay? It's not junk. All right. So, I got to show you guys what, cuz I've stitched in the ditch before with those kind of feet. I can't. I'm going to pull this back. I cannot see that the top stitching. I just can't. It got in there so close because the width of the little ditch guide is wide enough that it shoves this over. It shoves the binding edge over and buries that stitch. And then as the binding goes underneath the presser foot and relaxes back behind the presser foot, the stitching is just gone. But let's see here. I'm going to find a good one that's not all crooked. Look at the back. It's beautiful. It worked out perfect. I'm loving this. So I got it at Ken's Sewing. I don't have a link to it below the video right now. No, I don't know the number of that foot. Let me see if I can find it. You guys are going to buy him out and he's going to go, what happened? I went looking for it and let's see if I can get to their website. And here's the thing too. I was griping about the $11.95 shipping. However, if you spend $39, you get free shipping. So I didn't buy one foot because the foot's $20. I didn't buy one foot. I bought two of them because I've got this same machine down at the coast. I'm looking for it to see if I can find it, you guys. I'm on their website. There it is right there. Industrial grade. Let me show you guys. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. So, Betsy, I sew the binding to the top of the quilt first, just like on a regular, just as if I was going to flip it over and sew it by hand, which I'll never do in my life ever again because my hands hurt. So I sew it to the top and then I fold it over and sew it from the top again. So the stitch on the back is the bobbin. Yeah, and it works great. All right, I'm going to share this with you guys. I have a video of how I do this, yes. All right, so here at Ken's Sewing, hold on. Right here, it's kenssewingcenter.com. That's it. I just did a Google search for Ken's Sewing. And then it is, let's see, it looks like this. Ken's Sewing Center since 1971. I just searched Ditch Foot Brother. That will work for any of the machines that it fits. And it's right here, industrial grade stitch in the ditch quilting foot for straight models only. So it's a high shank foot, okay? You click on it. Yep, here it is. The SKU is 64865 in stock right there. So he's got a video and it doesn't show you how to, it just shows you, the video is good. You can look at that, but it shows you how that little spring works. And then it lists down here all of the machines that it is compatible with. Okay. So you guys can take a look at that and he'll probably wonder what happened. Why everybody's, oh, could you not see that? You can't see it. Well, let me fix that. I apologize. See, that's what I get for not looking back and making sure you see what I see. Okay. So here it is. This is Ken's. All right. And then industrial grade stitch in the ditch quilting foot. Let me make sure you can see this. Yes, you can. Okay. Okay, so here you go. And this is the SKUs 64865. But that's it right there. And it's it's for high shank machines. Okay. And then it's got a video here you can look at. And here below it is a list of all of the machines that it will fit. I haven't found anything else like it on the internet. So very happy with this. Extremely pleased. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have binding foots, you guys dig them out. Shirley says she forgot she had one. We do that, don't we? It's fine. Okay. So I showed it again, you guys. If you guys hear something in one of these Stitchuation rooms, because there's a lot of little nuggets that people talk about and share, y'all make yourself a note and write the date. And that way you can see, you can go back and check which Stitchuation room version it was. So, well, on Friday, I had tried stitching some flying geese for my American Pie quilt, and miserable failure. And it was because every one of the base units was cut incorrectly, every one of them. Two of them were total and complete fails. I've got to go back and recut those. So, yeah, Frida says she needs to go to Ken's, but she's got to leave the credit card at home. So anyway, this little gem of a foot now is staying right next to this machine because I always sew my bindings on by machine, always. If you're first starting out doing that method, I used to use steam-a-seam, 1/4 inch wide steam-a-seam to adhere the binding to the back until I got used to the feel of it. But I'll tell you, with this foot, it was even faster for me to finish that binding because I wasn't worried about running the stitch up onto the top of the binding because it can't, because this little flange has pushed it out of the way. So you'll see some that have real thin little metal flanges. Those are not, this thing is hefty. I like it. Much better quality. All about quality. Okay. Beth has made a Power Tools notebook. Not a girl. That's using the old noggin, right? Why try to remember all that? Just refer back. If there's so she wants to know, Dee wants to know if there's a foot for a brother embroidery sewing machine. There is. There is. It looks like a blind hem foot. So Mona wants to know if you could use a compensating foot. I don't know what that is. I've never heard that term. Do I press the binding once I sew the top piece on? Yes, ma'am, I do. I press it out so it knows where I want it to go. I always do that. Yeah. Take it over to the ironing board, press it out, get the the little miters right so that they look okay. It just makes life easier to be able to then fold that over. There is one for brother, but the brother one doesn't, it doesn't have the little spring. This little spring foot, I wish I could see it better and show you guys better. I'm looking for something white to put it against so you can see it. Here we go. The camera, So this little spring foot, this half right here that springs up, that allows this foot to sit on top of the binding. And then the thick little flange shoves the binding out of the way. So yes, you can certainly use invisible thread. You can use whatever, disappearing thread, whatever you want. That's fine. I think that's where I'll look for that first. I was just tickled. Beth says pressing is key for binding on both sides. It really is. It makes a difference, and it gives you more room. You know, sometimes we talk about that turn of cloth. It gives it gives you more room. So I press it. I don't use steam, but I press it out and tell it this is where you want to go. So you watched. I used monopoly thread for the stitch in the ditch. Did I use my machine to widen the bobbin, and did I use a 7010 needle? Pamela's asking. Sorry, my dog's outside. She still thinks she's coming in this door. She's not. I don't think. Anyway, seriously, Harley? I wound my own bobbin, and I use a 7511 needle for that. Always have. This is handy. Vernina's 1/4 inch foot has a marking in the back and the middle at the front, so you don't have to mark the corners on the quilt when binding. That's very handy. Yeah. Yep. It's funny, if you search superior monopoly thread on Amazon, you get the Monopoly game comes up because they're spelled the same. Yep. Hey, one of y'all had mentioned last week that the coupon code, not coupon code, but the promo code. So if you need anything stitching related at all from a dealer or almost a quilt store, Mull Queens in Tempe, Mesa, Glendale, Arizona. I've kind of partnered with them, not kind of, I have. And you can use promo code PTWT for Power Tools with Thread. Karen, oh my goodness, Karen. Thank you so much, Karen. That is so thoughtful of you. I appreciate that. So, where was I going? Mull Queens, Tempe. You can buy anything there online and use promo code PTWT and you get free shipping. So whether you're buying a foot or you're buying patterns or fabric or machines or whatever, they have graciously waived shipping for you guys. So if there's something you're thinking about buying on, and they ship out right the next day. Wonderful family-owned business. I will be going back out there in April, I believe. And I'm going to be at Tucson's at Tucson's. I'll be in Tucson at Kathy's one weekend, and then the following weekend in Mull Queens, back in the Tempe area. So I'll be back out there, and we're going to do some more scan and cut, fabric cutting, and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, Harley wants to join the fun, Tammy says. She just, for years and years, she's always come back in from her being outside through this door. And now because we have video going and all that, we don't need that ruckus. So he takes her in the back. She just has to be told. No, she's old. She's 16. Okay, here we go. We've got a question here. I mentioned that purchasing a scan and cut from Amazon and from overseas, that it may affect the warranty. Is it the same for the straight needle machine by Brother? Okay. So if you go on Amazon and you buy the Brother machine, like if you buy this, I bought this machine on Amazon. Okay. And I bought both of them on Amazon. You can, if it's sold by Brother USA, that's fine. You've got to be careful because different machines have different voltage requirements based on what country they're going to be used in. Okay. So the models that are sold on Amazon in the US, generally, they're fine. If they're sold by Brother USA, and you have to look at the store site, who's selling it. So it's sold by Brother on the Amazon site, then you know that that machine is fine and it can be used and purchased and serviced and everything right here in the US. Okay, no problem. So be careful when you're buying from somebody online that Amazon's very, very particular about who they allow to sell so that they're not selling knockoffs and or things that aren't allowed to be sold in the US. So if you find a scan and cut brand new out of the box for $150 or $199, that's like supposed to be the top of the line. Brother USA will not warranty that machine. But generally, you're not going to find those sold on Amazon. You'll find those sold on independent sites. And if you're not sure about it, don't just send them an email. Try to get a phone number. Hello, Frito. Good morning. There's my baby. Try to get a phone number for them and call them. And if they can't give you a US phone number, then you know, okay. It's hard to tell from an email where they're from. Linda says she's inspired again to sew and quilt. Well, good. We have a ball. Why not, right? Oh, good. That is wonderful. Frida had that PE 800 running. That's great. That's a good little machine. Yeah, that's a great little machine. I'd love a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, you guys. Thank you, Bernadette. Yeah, give a thumbs up at the bottom of the video if you're on a tablet or a phone. You might have to minimize the chat in order to do that, or you can wait till we're done. And if you're so inclined, please subscribe. We have a great time here. Well, Frito had to come in and say hi. She had a good time this weekend at the coast. The boats go by on trailers and they rattle, when they go down the road. And she just runs around the deck barking at all of them. It drives. She does that. So anyway, what all were you guys sewing this weekend? I need to get busy stitching up my flying geese because they're not getting done doing this. I've already had 3 cups of coffee. I saw a lady last night. I was watching a video and she was showing how to do Amy Butler's bag making method with the zipper insertion. And it was really very good. She's from Australia. I actually subscribed, which is rare. I don't subscribe to a whole lot of channels because half the time, I don't know. I try to keep up, you guys, but it's hard. I need to get sewing here. Let me turn on my iron. My little rolling ironing station here. This is a Cricut mini press, no steam, and I have my pressing tools. This is a seam roll covered in wool from Gray Rooster, and then I have a baby clapper. Just love these, and these sit on my Steady Betty. So Catherine says she ordered the foot. Every time she watches me, she spends money. That's okay. Hey, Connie, did you work on getting to know Hugh this weekend when you were at retreat? My friend, my quilty buddy, Lisa. So I started getting to know Hugh, and that really expanded my my piecing skills, really stretched them and made me use those piecing muscles. And that was good. Oh, you guys are busy. I love seeing that. So I couldn't do the middle of the quilt. I knew I couldn't. And Lisa has the skills to be able to do that. Oh, she took 3rd place in a quilt show this weekend too. So, oh no. Oh, we all have days like that. 45,000 stitches. Oh, no. Oh, Tina, bless your heart. Been there. I stitched I ran probably, I don't know how many passes on a long arm on a quilt. The tension was all wrong. I did not check the back like I should have. And when I finally did, it was a disaster. I had to invite a friend over and give her a stitch ripper and me a stitch ripper. And we sat on separate couches picking out this ginormous quilt. Oh, my word. Oh, but we had a nice, what do they call it? A co's. We visited quite a bit while we were doing that. So that's a nice way to undo that kind of disaster, right? So let me get to sewing on these. I got a nice email from a lady. So we were talking about this. Let me zoom in so y'all can see what I'm talking about. We were talking about that diagonal seam tape right there. This tape that you use from Cluck Cluck Sew to, or, keep your blocks straight as you're sewing them. And you guys were asking, how do I put the tape on straight? Well, Cheryl wrote me. So I start with a 1/4-inch ruler. It's got the 1/4-inch marked on it with a needle hole in it. And then I line it up from there. She says, I want to share a tip with you about the diagonal seam tape. My hands are compromised from arthritis, and it's hard to get my fingers to work in tight places. I was trying to position my seam tape, and it was being very difficult. So I turned about 2 inches of the seam tape back against itself, so I had a tab, brilliant, that I could hold into behind the needle. Then I lowered my needle through the red center line. Then I put the presser foot down and then was able to manipulate the tape and a flexible ruler to be sure the tape extended was in a straight line. I also used a pin to score through the tape so I could remove the tape from the feed dog area and at the bobbin door cover and still keep my tape in place. I did the same thing with my removable table. Now I only have to replace the tape when it gets worn out or becomes crooked. I hope this is a tip that might be useful for other sewists with compromised mobility. Isn't that nice? That's a wonderful tip, Cheryl. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I love that. Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. I'm not going to sew anything if I don't put that other foot on, right? What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. That would help, right? A presser foot? Yes. Definitely would help. I watched a video last night. I do a lot of studying about YouTube. And I watched a video last night. My YouTube coach, yes, I have a coach, had a couple of guests on who got their channels completely demonetized for what they called invalid traffic. For like, because you can buy viewers, you don't want to do that. You can buy views. You can tell people to do things they're not supposed to according to the YouTube partner agreement, and they'll demonetize your channel in a heartbeat. So, I wanted to know about that to make sure that that does not happen to me, because that's not cool. The biggest takeaway of it was, if you have a YouTube channel, the biggest takeaway from it that I got is not to rely on YouTube as your only monetary source. Yeah. Tammy says to use a lady's electric shaver to remove stitches. You can use that. The one from Designs and Machine Embroidery is fantastic. That's probably the best one in the industry that I have found. I've had several. So let me use my black light here to make sure that my squares are upside down so I don't put them on backwards. I have one block that's got backward squares, 2 backward squares, and I'm not taking it apart. If you can find it, I dare you. Oh, my word. Oh, good. No, some people rely on YouTube for their income. I am not of that ilk. I have military retirement and civil service retirement coming in to help me. I got a really nice email. Some of you have written me some emails, and I've flagged them to answer them later. It's just my time. But ladies, a retired Chief from the reserves, she stitches. So, and that was neat to get email from fellow vets. Very, very cool. My grandson had his 7th birthday yesterday. And y'all, I made a banner that's the pennants, like the little triangles. It's a Jenny Doan did a video, oh gosh, 100 years ago now. One of her first videos on how to make that pennant banner. And so it's a Missouri Star thing. And I went ahead and made it. And it says happy birthday. And, she wants you to cut up sew your pieces together. So it's a scrappy banner. It's real cute. Well, I made that for my oldest grandson's 1st birthday. And he just turned 12. And then the second grandson, he just turned 7. And my son sent me a picture, and they have that banner hanging up there for, so it's getting good use every year. And then I made another one for my granddaughter. So it's more pink and, girly. It's got Christmas candies and that kind of thing on it, and Christmas treats, because she's a Christmas baby. So you want to know what the black light is for? It is so you can tell the right side of white on white fabric. Let me show you. We always have new people. So I've got 2 squares here that are white on white. Okay. See the right side of that one. See the dots, and you cannot see the dots on this one. So that's the wrong side. Very, very handy. And because I sewed them, that one square, one of you kind souls, Kay, sent me this light. And I put it in my Amazon store. You guys can go to amazon.com/shop/power tools with thread. That's my Amazon store. All things I use and love are in there. Oh, good. Connie shared the black light trick and the plates trick. So what's the plates trick? Do I have my plates? What did I do with those? They are put away. So the plates trick is when I was making, where are they? All of these. There are 23 of these blocks. Let me get one. Oh. Calico Garden is in the queue for tomorrow, y'all. I'll be working on that tomorrow. So there were 23 of these blocks that had to be made for Calico Garden. Okay. So you have to put, this color with this color and have the right background fabric with it too. Okay. So what I did was, and I didn't come up with this, my quilty buddy Lisa did that. So what I did was I took all of the fabrics that had to be for each block, and they all went on a single paper plate. And I numbered the paper plate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 23. So I knew I had 23 plates. And then I threw all of the fabric pieces onto that plate for that block. And then I just did a stack of plates so big. Okay. And then, because if this is block 16 in the pattern, it was on plate number 16. That's how I kept all that straight. Okay. So I could move the stack of paper plates wherever I needed to. And I frequently, because you're working on them here and then you put them over there and then you're working on something else or whatever. And it just worked beautifully. So I have done that. I also did that for Lori Holt's chicken salad. That chicken salad, the fabrics for each block, I wanted mine to be I'm not good at putting fabrics together right. So one of you kind souls did a diagram of exactly which fabric was used in which block. And so I put all of those together to make the blocks, and it turned out just beautiful. So Sharon ended up doing her Santa table runner the old-fashioned way for the applique. Well, you know, you'll get there. It's fine. Oh, good. Kathy just bought that binding foot. Awesome. You'll love it. She's got the PQ 1500 as well. Yeah, the paper plates. And I asked Lisa, I said, where'd you get that idea? She said, well, we used to do that with puzzle pieces. They would, you know, they'd be putting together a puzzle and they'd take, you know, a square if you had to move it. This is before the day of being able to roll up a puzzle or whatever. But they would put chunks of pieces that went together on paper plates, and then you could just move them around as needed. They were probably hearing, they're sick of hearing about Becky. I'm sure of it. So I don't know what went on with my cutting on these geese blocks, but I had to retrim all of them. So we should be fine now. Which foot? Carrie, earlier in the video, in this live, we were talking about, where'd it go? It's a binding, it's a stitch in the ditch foot, and it's at Ken's Sewing. And if you want one, you better order it right now, because by the time 1,500 people watch this video later on today, they'll be gone. So this, y'all, I'm telling you, when you see stuff on here that you want, whether I mention it or one of y'all mention it, you need to be quick, because this is the you snooze, you lose kind of, the rule applies. Just a word of warning. Especially for cute fabric. I couldn't do the live last night, you guys. Oh, the lady who won last Sunday, she contacted me. So I've got to get that out in the mail to her today. But yeah, you snooze, you lose, Vernia. I'm telling you. I'll put something out there. I'll show you guys something, and you're gone. But why not? The kids can have the house. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. The kids can have the house. Making flying geese. Oh, Connie shared with them turn of cloth. Yeah, that is just a term that has been in the garment sewing industry for years and years. In couture sewing, the word comes to me now. What is a good stitch in the ditch for dual machines? That foot is only for straight stitch. Patty, use the blind hem foot. Do you know what that is? It looks just like it. Let me get it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to move you around here. I'll let you see where I'm going. See, I'm squished in here. Okay. Oh. Oh, if you don't know what a blind hem foot is, let me see. That will work, the blind hem foot. Let me see if I can find it. It's got a little flange that sticks out. Just because it's a blind hem foot doesn't mean you have to only use it for blind hems, you know? Okay, this one will work. This is in my Luminaire. This one will work. This is R. This is the R foot in the Luminaire. Can you see it? So it's got that little flange that sticks out. See it right there? That will work on a regular sewing embroidery machine combo. That will work. So the flange, the reason it works, let me see if I got one. The reason it works is because inside there's a piece of metal. Let me put that over my face. The cameras. There's a piece of metal inside and it has a little divot in it. See the curve? The needle goes in there. Okay. All-nighter just showed up. Welcome. Glad you're here. So with the little bump, what that does is the needle goes down right inside that the needle goes down right on the other side of that metal piece. It's not focusing, I'm sorry. And that metal piece is shoving whatever it is over, okay? And it's doing that on a blind hem, but you can straight stitch with this with this foot, and that metal flange is pushing the binding over to the side. That will work. Yep. Karen says she used the blind hem on her Janome and it worked pretty good for her. Yeah. If you are interested in stitching your bindings on by machine, and so this is for the final, this isn't putting it on the top, but as you fold it over the back and, and another trick to getting that nice is about every, I don't know, so far, okay, maybe the width of it, however long, so far. That's what I love to have the knee lift for. I use the knee lift, raise the presser foot, readjust the binding, get it under there really good and nice and snug around the edge of the quilt, and just snug it again. And when you raise the presser foot, I got to figure out where this goes back. When you raise the presser foot, it relaxes the binding. It allows the binding to kind of settle underneath where you just finished. But I just press and, use the knee lift. Invaluable tool. Invaluable that. Or if you've got one of those multi-foot pedals that you can push backwards and it'll raise the foot, that's handy. Oh. And so just it allows where you've already stitched to relax and sit underneath that presser foot, and it gives you space to snug that binding around and then just keep going a little bit further and readjust and go a little further and readjust. While it seems a little tedious, it's way better than sewing by hand. If you are not a hand stitcher like I am not. So the R foot, now, Vonnie, that R foot is in my Brother Luminaire box. So you guys can, Peggy says she has a Stitch in the Ditch for the new Move It for the Stellaire, and they have other new feet. Yeah. Anything, any foot that you can find that's got that little flange that's going to shove that binding strip over so that you've got, the idea is that once the needle passes and it has stitched, sorry, my dog, she's very vocal. As the binding comes out from behind the presser foot, it relaxes back on top of that stitch and your sewing just disappears. That's the idea. So yeah, try it just is a continual, I'll be going along, and then I've got the knee lift bar right down here. I'll be going along. I raise it, I tuck it under again, get it where I want it. And I'm usually like, both hands on either side, and I'm moving it just like that to get that binding to, and plus, since you ironed it and pressed it out already, it knows, oh, this is where she wants me to put, this is where I want to be. Yeah. The Move It it's a foot, basically, it's a super high-end walking foot from Brother that it looks like a giant contraption, and generally used by garment sewers so that the bottom fabric is not pulled through the feed dogs faster than the top fabric. There's a couple of different ways you can alleviate that if you don't have it, but it's a big old foot. I've got one here somewhere, but of course it will not fit on this machine, so I don't ever use it. And my Luminaire is set up most of the time for embroidery, so it's a digital dual feed foot. Yes, Peggy, thank you. Yeah, it works good. It works really good. Peggy, you're up early. This is the binding on the front top of the quilt you were talking about, correct? Yes, Etiquette. How are you, my friend? Etta doesn't live too far from me. Yeah. So what I'm talking about is, okay. So what I'm talking about is, I put the binding on the front of the quilt. I sew that to the front of the quilt first. All right. Then I take it over to the ironing board, and it's got the raw edges together, just like you would do regularly. If I do mine on the long arm, but I sew the binding to the quilt with the raw edges together. Then once that's on, I take it over to the ironing station and I press the binding out away from the edge of the quilt. And then I wrap the binding around and I sew from the top. So that we'll do a binding tomorrow. I'm going to do my haunted house today on the long arm, y'all. And that's this one. This was a free from Fat Quarter Shop. Okay. So I'm going to do this today on the long arm, and we'll bind it tomorrow. How about that? Hand is a 4-letter word. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll show you how I bind tomorrow. It is so, what size binding? Tammy wants to know what size binding I like. Standard 2.5. It just works fine for me. Yeah. That 2.5-inch strip. So I use a 2.5 with a 1/4 inch seam allowance on the front and wrap it around the back, and it gives me plenty. So you're binding yours today, Barbara. Good. That's great. Yep. Okay. Oh my word, Marilyn. Marilyn got snow today. She's up in Canada. So Stacy she says she'd love to see me bind on the long arm. Okay. We have a store site, powertoolswiththreadstore.com. And there is, I sell a ruler to help you bind add the binding on while it's on the long arm. And, you know how they have like the little thumbnail, it's called the Groovy Long Arm Binding Ruler. And you have the little thumbnails, and there's a video there. I have not put that out public yet for the masses. It's on the store site. You can watch it, but I haven't pushed it out as a how-to video yet because I'm either completely out or almost out of those rulers. So Candace, you're starting your day in a little bit of a challenge. She's trying to make HSTs out of directional fabric. You should know better than that. Oh my word. Yeah. So yeah, but when I first started binding, finishing the binding by machine, I'm only putting the binding on the top of the quilt on the long arm. To finish it off and sew it to the back, wrap it around and sew it to the back, I do it at this machine. But I would use Steam-A-Seam to literally glue the binding to the back so that it stayed where I wanted it to, and I didn't miss any pieces until it took practice. It took practice to get that done. If you just first start doing it, you'll miss some spots. Your binding, it'll kind of want to creep back to the edge, and that's why you have to continually work it all the time. You can hold it on. You can hold it on with Wonder Clips. That helps. I've gotten to the point now, I've done it so much for years that I don't need the wonder clips either. I can really pretty much tell because I can feel that my fingers know the depth of the wraparound and it knows that it's made it. It's kind of, my fingers know. So Carrie, that's smart. Carrie uses directional fabric on backings if you use it at all. Yeah, absolutely. You just got to remember because the way I do my backings, if it's not a 108, if I'm using regular fabric off the bolt, I trim it at one end. You've got to turn one of those pieces around. Yeah. So I just saw, and you're sitting here having more caffeine. Well, Linda's hand sewing. Good for you, girl. I think that's wonderful. You can use Elmer's glue, Brenda. Absolutely. Hi, Jeannie. You can use Elmer's glue or Steam-A-Seam, anything, light, Steam-A-Seam light, something that's not real heavy. You certainly can. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's very handy when you first start so that you're not so frustrated at the end because you'll miss spots and you'll be like, "Urgh." And if I miss a spot, what I'll normally do is I will go ahead and unpick so much of it until I can get it to lay flat, and I'll press it again and then say, okay, let's do this one more time. And then I'll go ahead and stitch it again. But yeah, you guys use whatever works. Absolutely. There's no rule on that. Especially like this, like table runner that's going to go on my buffet. Meh, it's fine. Yes. Well, you guys, this has been fun. Our hour is up. I wish you all a happy Monday, and I hope you have a great start to your week. I've really enjoyed sewing these 3 flying geese half wings with you guys. Jury duty, Kathy. Oh, go do your civic duty, right? Yep. So Sherry brings up a good point. This works well. She has a friend who sews the binding to the back and then sews the front with a decorative stitch. They're always beautiful. Yes, that is a great way to add a binding. It certainly is. You can do a pretty wave or leaves or whatever. I did that. I was practicing and playing on this. I did that. That's what I did right there. I was just playing with it, trying to get the leaves down the edge. This is a scrap, you guys, but it's too cute to throw away. So I leave it here by my sewing machine for my fall mug rug. But all right, you guys, everybody have a wonderful day. Please subscribe. Please give the channel the video a thumbs up, and we will see you tomorrow. You guys go sew something. Bye.